The ultra-woke Golden Globes ratings are in, and as you might have suspected, they're grim. Today, we'll tell you how the celebrities caused audiences to leave, never returning. And folks, today, we'll shine a spotlight on Mark Ruffalo, the MCU star. He's a Hulk at destroying the Hollywood industry. It's been too long since we get to share time together, folks, and if you are here, part of the channel over and over, you'll know 4 times a day we've got more content on your way, but it seems like it's still not enough to cover all of the collapse of Hollywood. We'll do our best, though. The best in the biz, maybe you decide. Click the like button, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and folks, we'll wade into the waters of a Hollyweird that just can't go much longer. Well, the Golden Globes have been here, and they have, they are has-beens, folks. Out of Breitbart, take a look at this. Nulty John, that is, says Golden Globe ratings tank with the 3rd dip in a row. They're not talking about Clooney. He's not the dip. Behind him, maybe. I don't know. The Golden Globe Awards once again tanked in the ratings. This year, the Dumb Awards show that feature celebrities who hate normal people served up ratings even worse than last year in 2025. And last year in 2025, the ratings suckified. Oh, and last year's ratings were lower than the previous year in 2024. So for the 3rd year in a row, the Golden Globes have lost viewers. But folks, what if I told you it's worse than that? To steal from Lou, they've been cut in half. Listen to this. Only 8.66 million people tuned in this year to the Golden Globes, which we told you the ratings were going to be really bad. We previewed that. It's a drop of 7% compared to last year, with an abysmal 9.27 million last year tuning in. For context, 20 years ago, when Hollywood hid its hatred for normal people better and actually made movies normal people want to see, 20 million people tuned into the Golden Globes. And this has nothing to do with the internet, says John Nolte. Streaming, video games, or any other excuses. All of those things were around 20 years ago. Streaming might not have been as big as it is now, but we still had 100 other cable channels to choose from. And I ask, what's the difference between that and streaming? Answer, there is no difference. Even as recently as 2020, 18.32 million people tuned in. And what that means, folks, is with only 8.66 million, listen closely, in just 6 years, less than half the people who used to tune in to things like the Golden Globes are there anymore. Now, why might that be? Well, Matt Damon and Mark Ruffalo wore Be Good pins for the woman who tried to, well, we don't want to say what she tried to do, but she hit the accelerator while there were agents around her vehicle. And it's not lost on people that at the same time we're watching the massacre of people in the Middle East and, silence out of Hollywood. Why is that? Mark Ruffalo, again, here's a clip from him. Folks, listen in. Here's what he has to say about the Orange Man, the Orange Godzilla who lives under his bed and in his dreams. And here's Mark Ruffalo. And you just tell me if you can figure out why less than half the people are tuning in anymore to the Golden Globes. Here's Mark Ruffalo.
For Renee Nicole Good, who was murdered. We have a vice president who's lying about what's happening. We have we're in the middle of a war with Venezuela that we illegally invaded. He's telling the world that international law doesn't matter to him.
Hey, Andre, Venezuela was ruled by a guy who was not elected in any kind of authentic way. He's a dictator.
He was an illegitimate leader. And also, he says that we're in the middle of war with Venezuela. I think a requirement for there to be a war is for the other side to fight back.
You old fuddy-duddy, you.
Yeah, no. Because this is a war where, as I said in the video that I did about it, check it out, I said, well, there are ways that this can go sideways. For instance, one way it can go sideways is if the people of Venezuela decide that, Maduro, he was really, really horrible. He made us all dirt poor. He destroyed our future, our opportunities, everything. But at least he was one of us. Now we're going to go and kick the ass of the gringos who dare to remove him and try to fix the oil sector and maybe down the line everything else about the economy. That could happen. It didn't happen, and I didn't think it would. I don't think it's going to. There's no war here because the overwhelming majority of the people of Venezuelans, both still inside and certainly outside, like this. They're happy about it. We do not have the necessary conditions for there to be any kind of insurgency here. There's not going to be any war. So here you have Mark Ruffalo sharing opinions that he is not qualified, or rather, sharing his political analysis of a situation. He's giving opinions where he's not qualified to have one. And it's very, very obvious. If he doesn't like what happened with the ICE shooting, then that's a different matter. But there's some wider context to that as well. And be nice. By all accounts, the woman who was shot wasn't all that nice. I mean, you have all of these pictures of her in the media. Those are 10 years old. I mean, now she had rainbow flags and nose rings and everything like that. And was by all accounts not all that nice. So that's a different matter entirely. But still, like, this is why no one is watching. I mean, bring back Ricky Gervais to shut these people up.
That's a great point. I wish I could play the Ricky Gervais. Every time we do, they hit us, so we can't do that. But let's play it this way. Now, I know that people like Joe Rogan, for example, have come out and he doesn't like what happened with that raid, and not just the way that we hate it. We hate when people lose their lives. That's a horrible thing. But he's come out and he's not been in favor of how ICE handled it. Now, people can have their opinions about it. Fine, whatever. And there are people out there who can have different opinions about what's going on in Venezuela. In fact, you can imagine that there's a spectrum of different things and ways that people could believe about any kind of event or any kind of person, etc. The problem is that when you have celebrities come out and act the way that Mark Ruffalo is, he's very abrasive and he's doing all of this. Okay, you might be able to pull that off if at the same time you're also making fantastic content that people love. But considering you're not doing that, considering nobody watches these movies anymore and nobody cares about these celebrities anymore, then I gotta say that it's kind of like the grave is already there and they're just picking up more shovels. And I want them to stop because I feel badly for them now. Like, your ratings are in the gutter. You have reached trash level. Nobody cares about what you have to say, and yet you flaunt your opinions anyway. And whether they're right or wrong or whatever, you're delivering them to a very uncrowded field, and you're doing it in a way that will lose even those people for you. Nat, I want to go to you here. The Golden Globes, Hollywood at large, they've cratered it. They've destroyed the goodwill of the people. The goodwill well has run dry with these celebrities.
Well, there's not really any, as you mentioned, movies, TV shows that people are that interested in to see if they win, or just interested in general. And then on top of that, with the still virtue signaling for some reason, and I do agree, just bring back Ricky Gervais, at least that would get some eyeballs back. But we've seen all these award shows crater because nobody cares both about the award shows, about the awards, or about the people that are getting them. So, or the movies that are getting them. So they're doing it for themselves now fully, like it was when the awards started.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought going into politics abrasively would wipe out your audience? Who'd ever? I just can't believe this. Culture, can you believe this? It's so strange, isn't it? It flies in the face of any logic we believed in.
What?
What?
Look, I mean, the popularity contests that are held, which is what these award shows are, they've bored the audience to tears. And look, it's the same reason why they really don't have anything to feature as far as the films that are winning these things. I mean, one bad idea after another was one of the biggest films in the Golden Globes this year. It's going to also figure prominently into the Oscars, and I can just say nobody cares. All of these nominations for Best Picture, whatever these things are films that largely the public at large are not seeing. They don't bother to attend. They know they're not interested, and they're not interested for the same reasons that they're being poorly reviewed.
So they're like the Oscars more and more every year, you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, it's political messaging at its finest, and it's nothing but an opportunity for propaganda and misinformation, which is what people like Mark Ruffalo spill out all over the place, vomiting it at us on the red carpet. And I'm just tired of it. I think everybody is.
I told you to not bring up what he spills anymore. Hey, Lou, before you hop in here, out of courtesy for Culture Casino, we do need to let him go. Culture's got to hop off right now. Culture, tell the folks out there where they can find you, though.
Certainly, yeah. Obviously, you can find me on the Culture Casino channel. Occasionally, I'm up on everybody here's channels doing stuff with them. I'm very privileged in that way, and I thank them all for that opportunity. But I'm headed next to the HCast, and then after that, I am headed to the doctor. So I've got a busy afternoon. So
all right. Well, we wish you well with the doctor and the HCast too. But the doctor, we always wish you well on that. And Culture, don't throw around any of the staff at the clinic.
It's going to be fine. I stopped that. I did it one time. One time.
They're still carrying shields there.
There's that code, and you know what you do one time, and I got to go.
The honor party said we only did it once.
The mailman now brings a wiffle bat to Culture Casino's house. All right, Lou, get in here. What were your thoughts on this? And specifically, Lou, also tell us.
I just want to be clear so people who don't know, one bad idea after another, that is not, as it might seem, the title of a documentary about Hollywood for the last 15 years.
Is that a riff on One Battle After Another, the movie that they're all celebrating? Yeah.
But, and also, Culture's greatest appearance was last night, our premiere of the Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you, with him taking over the reins from Vash as my genial co-host interlocutor. And it was great, and you can watch the replay and enjoy yourself. So anyway. These ratings are indicative of one simple thing. Nobody cares. And especially, why should we care about an organization made up entirely of the so-called Hollywood Foreign Press Corps, which is people from every country in the world that hates us?
Yeah, it's a great point.
Not the people, not the artists, the so-called journalists who, as I've said before, in 90% of the cases are the dictator's main squeeze who they leave in LA with a bank account to avoid the misses.
But now explain that, Lou, because not everybody knows how the Golden Globes are voted for. So explain that real quick.
Voted by the members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Corps, which means the representative of the biggest newspaper in, I don't know, pick a town, Santiago or Fiji or wherever. And like I say, most of these people, it's always been corrupt. They've always been viable. They've always been pliable to encouragement by the studios. But these people they're not journalists. They're not reviewers.
They're cultural ambassadors from places that don't like America very much.
And also, I want to add one more thing to that. The publications that they represent do not always speak for the people of their respective nation.
Exactly.
Yeah, almost always, I would say.
Yeah.
Tom, what's the point in having award shows if less than 10 million people are watching them?
Well, I mean, at that point, it's just pointless. I mean, look, the problem we have here has mainly to do with the fact that movie stars are turning people off. The Golden Globes used to be the event where everybody got drunk and had fun and would goof around, and it wasn't taken nearly as seriously as the Oscars, right? And the fact that they're just kind of morphing it into the Oscars is part of the problem and what Ricky Gervais was trying to warn against.
Yes.
So,
and the other problem is whenever
I forget the name of the lady who was the host this year, a comedian, but apparently she's gone on some of the talk shows to tell you all the jokes she cut.
Oh yeah,
that are against ICE and against America.
Right.
Just to show you what a magnanimous person she really was. But of course, she's still using the jokes out there.
That's right.
No, what that tells you is that somebody at the network told them not to do those jokes.
Right. Said, hey, we got to get these ratings, and then the ratings didn't come anyway. The other problem, folks, and this is just general advice to these celebrities and the superstars and all the people who watch and learn here on the Pro Channel. I know there's so many of them out there. We're teaching PhD levels of understanding every single day, as they can find also on Midnight's Edge and Nat and the Guy. Folks, whenever you weigh in on one issue, such as Mark Ruffalo or Matt Damon are doing, guess what? Everybody else with a cause or an issue is going to say, why not mine? You cannot win with this. And these guys present it in the worst way possible. They're so abrasive. They're so antagonistic. They're not persuading anybody.
Well, and it started from a place of genuine, I think sympathy, at least, if not empathy. Because, a lot of people, a lot of this kind of started with, the AIDS awareness, breast cancer, those kind of things. And I think everybody can get behind those things, right? We can get behind trying to do more AIDS research and getting more breast cancer research.
Go back to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, simple things that people can get behind. That's the kind of things, if you're a celebrity, that you should be promoting. Not controversial political things, because then you're just going to wind up where you're at with these kind of celebrities, and then they're wondering why their movies are tanking.
We don't talk.
There is no movie stars anymore. You know, one thing I don't see Timothée Chalamet going out there and doing.
That's a good point.
Going F Trump, or
That's right.
Talking about what he feels that people should be doing to conserve the environment. Yep. He does not say dink all about anything but his movies.
Tom,
and
the problem is
he's on the way to being the next Johnny Depp because of that.
The problem, Tom, and boy, that's a good point too. You're right on that as well. Tom, the other thing is, for decades, you would have these activist celebrities. You would have a Sean Penn, you would have a Jane Fonda. But they were the wacko, right? They were the exception to the rule, and some of the journalists would flaunt, just fawn over them. But all of Hollywood basically has become this, and now the exception to the rule is the Timothée Chalamet. The exception to the rule is the Chris Pratt. That's the exception now. All these people are trying to. It's a race to the bottom. It's a race to destroy the industry, and that's what Hollywood has become, and that's why the award shows are done. Tom, final word.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's all become nothing but a fart-smelling contest and all that kind of business. And what's funny about this whole thing with the Jonathan Ross, Renee Good shooting, I'm sure nobody's heard this or not because the news ain't going to get behind this as much, but did you know that the agent suffered internal bleeding?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, from being struck by the vehicle.
Yeah, according to everybody who's saying, oh, she didn't even touch him or anything like that. Like, that's what I'm saying is like, but they're not going to get that out there in the news, just like they did.
Well, they're not mad about that anymore, Tom. So, Tom, they've switched now. What they're saying is, well, why was he even recording it in the first place? Okay. Helping Hollywood produce a product that you want to consume. That's what we do each and every day, folks. And this time, it's time to, well, say goodbye. We know, but don't cry. No, for we will have more videos on the way. We love to bring those videos and that information. And by the way, if you'd like even more, consider going to the Patreon page. It's www.patreon.com/WDW Pro. It's where we put out stuff exclusively there that we simply can't put out in other places for whatever reason, be it because it's too spicy or because, well, perhaps we're working to corroborate it. But you can find out things early and first over there. Folks, we surely have had a great time spending time with you. Consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment right on down below. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.